So hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're coming to the end of April. Next month, the Walking Dead universe is coming back, finally. So I thought it would be fun to do a video where we just chat about what's known so far about the shows that are returning, the spin-offs, all that fun stuff. And to just talk about what we want to see, or what I want to see, I guess is what I'm going to be talking about in this video. You guys can leave your comments down below, let me know your thoughts. As always, I love hearing you guys weigh in on stuff like this. Before we get started, the link to my Patreon is down below where I do a whole bunch of reactions. There's 2 uploads a day over there. We're working through old shows like The X-Files, Buffy, Once Upon a Time. I just started Star Trek The Next Generation, stuff like that. There's also live streams. Some newer shows like Yellow Jackets, Outer Banks, The White Lotus. I cannot get comfortable in this chair today. I'm also starting reactions to some new shows as well in upcoming weeks. I think Heartstopper is on there and some others. So yeah, the link to that's down below if you guys want to check that out and support it. Very much appreciate it. You can also find the link to my Twitter and my Instagram down below. Okay, so let's get started. As you know, so commonly as I do, that sentence was atrocious. We got notes on shows. Okay. First of all, I'm going to start off talking about Fear the Walking Dead and what is known so far. Now, this is just from what I found online, stuff that people are saying on the internet, going off of the trailer and stuff. So if anything is wrong, I am not an expert. Okay, so Fear is the last season. They're ending with this season, which I've said before. I think that's a good idea. I think that I will stick with a show and watch a show if I like it. I like Fear. I enjoy Fear. I feel like Fear, though, is the type of show that they've done all they can do with it. You know what I'm saying? They've explored so many different things, so many different crazy storylines. They've brought in characters from other shows like Dwight and Morgan and given them a new lease on life. I mean, Fear, it's the type of show that it gets a lot of shit. It really does get a lot of shit from viewers. But it's been fun. There's been incredible moments. There's been incredible plot points. There's been fantastic character development. I've loved it and I've enjoyed it. But I do think that ending on this season is a smart move because I feel like they've done almost everything they can do regarding the show. Alright, so again, not an expert. And if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments with links to articles or whatever. And we can continue to... Speaking is hard. And if I'm wrong, we can continue the discussion in the comments down below. But yeah, so from what I've seen so far, Fear is going to be a 12-episode season, which... Okay, I mean 12 episodes isn't a lot to wrap up a storyline, but okay. It's going to be split into 2 parts, 2 chunks of 6. The first of which is starting to air next month. I'm getting up the air date just to be specific. Oh my god, my obsessed ass typed in the Walking Dead air date. So the first 6 episodes are beginning to air on May 14th, so that's next month. And then there's going to be a break after those 6 episodes air, and then they'll come back for the final 6. It's good, I suppose, that they're not drawing out the season. They're not making it too much. They're not putting in too much time that we're going to have a slow down in the pacing and the storytelling. I mean, it's the final season. You want the final season to be in your face. You want it to be packing a punch, throwing hands, whatever the fuck the saying is. I don't think I nailed that. I still do think it's somewhat short, but I mean, I guess you're just taking out, like I said, the lulls in storytelling by, yeah. How long was season 7? Yeah, season 7 was 16. Season 6? Season 6 was 16. Yeah, that's what I thought. So we're cutting out, like, what, 4 episodes? Apparently there's going to be a time jump. We did see from the trailer there was a bunch of grown kids that we've jumped forward into the future. From what I saw online and from what I can make out, it's a 7-year time jump. That is a long time. I have tried many times to figure out what the hell is the deal with the timeline in Fear, because we have had time jumps before. And we had in The Walking Dead as well. I've tried to figure out what was happening at each point at the same time in each of the 2 shows in The Walking Dead and Fear. But it gets a bit hazy and it gets a bit muddled because, like I said, there's time jumps happening here and there. But for this season, anyway, we're jumping 7 years into the future. The kids are all grown up. We're living under Padre's rule, kind of like the Saviours of the Governor style Woodbury situation. So we have a big bad. We have a situation that we need to fix, that we need to get out of. I hope that we keep a clear, cohesive villain for the whole season, because Fear, as much as I've liked it, I've liked the whole throw a villain in, destroy them and move on. I have liked that. But I mean, over the course of 7 seasons, some villains should be more long lasting than others, and Fear were known for jumping from one to the other. Like, I loved what's his face, what was his name? Teddy, the cult guy. I loved him. I thought he was fantastic. I feel like we should have got more time with him. But that was kind of Fear's charm. Their whole thing was that they had a different formula and a different way of storytelling from The Walking Dead, which I did like for the most part. But I do hope that we get the one big bad for this overarching season. So yeah, the premise of the season apparently is we're trying to save Mo. It's kind of a similar it's kind of a similar premise to Dead City. Dead City is the Negan and the Maggie show where they're going off to try and find Herschel. You know, they're driving home the children are our future theme, which I do really love. I mean, we ended The Walking Dead with that theme, with, you know, we're the ones who live. The kids grow up or will grow up to carry on the legacy and to keep things ticking and moving and rolling. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Things I want to see from this season. I want to see more of Strand. I want to see Alicia and Madison reunite and reconnect. I would like to see, and I said this in my Fear reaction, I would like to see people cross over. I would like to see people move from show to show. I mean, with the way The Walking Dead ended, it allowed for that. It allowed for, if crossovers were possible, they could happen. You know what I mean? Because it didn't kill off the whole cast. Only certain people didn't make it out of the season. Fear, I wonder, will they do that? Or will it just be like, they lived happily ever after in Fear the Walking Dead? They're locked in, they're never leaving. I mean, I guess unless characters die, there's always a chance that they could pop up in one of the other shows. Like with Dead City, which is the Negan and the Maggie show, or with the Daryl's show, or with Tales of the Walking Dead. The possibility for familiar faces to pop up is there. But that being said, I read a quote from Lenny James recently where he said that he was going to miss the routine and the day-to-day of being Morgan Jones and of working on the show. So does that mean there's no more crossovers, or does it just mean he's sad to see this chapter end? I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens with Sherry and Dwight. It looks like they're still together in the future, which that was not on my bingo card for this show. Let me just tell you, I thought they weren't going to make it. I thought they weren't going to last as a couple, and apparently they have. Mark me wrong and shocked. But that's kind of all I have to say right now on Fear. Like I said, I did the reaction for the trailer where I got into it a little bit and talked a little bit more about it. But I thought we should just discuss it because it's part of the Walking Dead universe and it's coming to an end. The end of shows are always so, I don't know, they make me feel nervous because it's like you've built up something for so many amount of seasons. You've made these characters, you've built the story, you've made people invest and love it. So the end always kind of makes me anxious as to how they're going to handle it. What are they going to do? I mean, if it's done wrong, you can destroy the legacy of a show. I'm just so excited to see what they do. Right, skipping over then to Dead City. So Dead City is the Negan and the Maggie show. It was called Isle of the Dead and then they renamed it. I kind of prefer Isle of the Dead, being honest. I think it's a cooler name. Walking Dead, Dead City just sounds kind of strange, but look, they changed it for whatever reason. What I'll say on that is the exact same thing I said about the Rick movies. I don't know what was going on there for a while, but people were in the habit of announcing things before they happened, before they really were solid plans. The Rick movies were announced as movies. It was going to be 3 films. And then there was no news, there was no nothing on the films, and then it was announced that it was a show. Now, I'm happier that it's a show, to be honest. It's going to be a 6-episode miniseries. I don't know if it's been confirmed if there's going to be a season 2 or not. I'm not sure. It might just be the 6 standalone episodes. But a lot of people got really mad over that and were saying like, we were promised movies, now we're being given a miniseries. But time-wise, it's the exact same thing. And I said this months ago in a video. It's the same thing. If you do 3 movies at about 2 hours each, that's 6 hours of content. If you do 6 episodes at about an hour each, 6 hours of content. The only difference is the formatting and the pacing, probably. Anyway, we're not talking about that show right now. We're talking about Dead City. Yeah. So, like, yeah, they announced the show. They announced the name of the show. And they weren't, I don't know, were they not ready to announce it or what happened, but they had to rename it. We're going with Dead City. Again, it's a 6-episode show, miniseries. I'm not sure if they've been confirmed or, like, greenlit for season 2. But I did hear recently that apparently Daryl's show has been greenlit for season 2 already. Which is, I mean, that's ballsy. You haven't even aired season 1 yet. No one knows anything about the show. No one knows anything. Well, I mean, I guess if Daryl Dixon's name is connected to something, you're kind of safe to assume it'll bring in the viewers, because it will, and I will be one of them. I will be seated, glued to the screen. Again, I'm getting off topic. So Dead City is sitting Manhattan. She's sitting there in Manhattan, happy as shit. It's set in Manhattan, which I've said again before that I am so excited to see. I like, as much as I do love the kind of traipsing through the countryside, going from place to place, setting up your own safe zones and your own towns and cities, like the Alexandrias of the world, or the Alexandrias of the Walking Dead world, or Woodbury, things like that. As much as I do love those little pockets of communities, I am excited to see a major city that everybody knows be completely fucked up by the apocalypse. You know, and then you get the fun of going in around the city, going in through buildings. It feels more, I mean, it's bigger, but it feels more claustrophobic. You go into a city, you go into a goddamn skyscraper, you don't know what the fuck is lurking up there. A wild beta could come flying down the fucking elevator shaft at you. Really excited to see the setting and to see the scenery and to see the set design on that. I can't wait. So yeah, like I said, the premise of this is Herschel, Maggie's kid, goes missing or he's kidnapped. So Maggie has to team up with Negan, for reasons unknown, to go to Manhattan and get her kid back, to find out what in the love of fuck is going on, what's happening. The Negan and the Maggie situation, I love the two of them as characters. I think that they're the kind of characters that you can rely on to be solid all the time. Even when there's lulls in their character story arcs, even when shit gets a bit repetitive, you can still rely on them as actors and as actors who know their character to bring it. I've loved Maggie for years. I've loved Negan for years. Together they do bring this kind of tension and this awkwardness and this clunkiness, because their characters don't particularly like each other. Duh. They do bring this special kind of magic together when they're on screen. I am interested to see what are they going to do storyline wise between them that we haven't seen already. We know they're going to be walking side by side, giving each other the death glares, giving each other the dirty looks. If shit hits the fan, we're probably going to have one of them be like, I could leave you. I won't. I'm going to save your ass though. So how much can we explore between the two of them that we haven't done already? That's the only thing I'm worried about with the show. That is that going to get repetitive? Is their dynamic going to get a little bit repetitive? Still excited to see it and to watch it and to see if they do decide to make changes or spice things up somehow. I swear, I got so angry there I nearly knocked my phone off the table. If they try to insert a romance story arc, I'm going to have strong words to say to someone. There's people out there, I don't know, are they shit posters? I don't know, are they joking, trying to cause drama? But there's people saying like, I ship them, I want them to get together. And I'm like, Glenn is turning in his grave with his little crushed eyeball flopping out of his head socket at the even thoughts of that joke. So there better not be any kind of romance storyline there. Speaking of romance storyline, one thing I hope we get from this goddamn show is I hope we get to find out what happened to Anne, Negan's wife, who was pregnant at the time that The Walking Dead ended, and then just we never saw what happened to her. We never saw. She was just never spoken of or heard of from again. Maybe there'll be a time jump in Dead City and we're going to get to see Negan's kid grown up. He's going to be like to his wife, hey, I got to go help her find her kid because I terrorised her and all of her friends and I killed her husband years ago now. I got to go help her though, find her kid. Maybe that's how that goes down. One thing I found really interesting about this, and I was very happy to see, is that Scott Gimple, Lauren Cohen and Jeffrey Dean Morgan are all executive producers on this show. I love it when people behind... What are you trying to say, bitch? I love it when people who are on screen take their talent behind the screen. I always say this about people who, on long-running shows, when you have one of the lead actors decide to go and direct an episode of the show, they know their character and the show if they've been on it for like 8, 9, 10 years. I love it when they're trusted to step behind the camera and get a bit more creative input to the process. So the fact that Jeffrey and Lauren are executive producers, I wonder how much they actually got when it comes to say in that role. You know, how much creative freedom were they allowed? How much were they hands-on with it? Is Talking Dead returning for these shows? I presume it is, and if it is, I hope we do get to hear things like that discussed and talked about. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Dead City as of now. Skipping over to the Daryl show. This show has so much mystery around it. I am just fascinated. I am just absolutely captivated by the concept of this TV show. Daryl Dixon ends up in France, and it just goes from there. Just to touch on the point that I made with Dead City, Daryl show is set in Europe, it's set in France. I'm so excited to see a different change of scenery, especially finally to take the show global, take it out of America, take it somewhere that has completely different languages, customs, settings, scenery. How many times have I said that word in this video? Hopefully we're going to get to see big iconic landmarks in big cities. I just think it's going to be really cool to look at. But there's not a whole lot known about this. It's kind of, it's similar to the Negan and the Maggie show that you get 6 episodes for the season 1. But like I said, I have heard, I say that so cryptically. It's not like I have fucking insiders. I don't. I barely have insight as to how my own goddamn brain works. But apparently this show's been greenlit for a season 2. I don't even know what the name of Daryl's show is yet. Is that the working title? Is that what we're going with? It's just called Daryl Dixon. The new series. That's the name of the show. I mean, you gotta give it to them. It is short and sweet and to the point. What's the show about? What's the deal with this? Well, what can you tell us about the show? Daryl Dixon. And I'm like, well, fuck. You got me. You got me there. This show, there's been drama around this show since the goddamn beginning because it was supposed to be a Daryl and Carol spin-off, and then Melissa pulled out of the series, and now it's a Daryl-centered show centered around Daryl. I mean, like I said with the end of The Walking Dead, there's always the possibility for anybody to show up anywhere. So if there is a season 2 of the show, there's always the possibility for Carol to pop up and make an appearance and become a series regular, or just make a guest appearance somewhere in it. I'm going to absolutely butcher this name, but Clemence Poussey is, I think she's the co-lead. She's one of the main characters in the show outside of Daryl. She also played Fleur Delacour in Harry Potter, which was my shit when I was a kid. I think the working theory that's going at the moment, or the explanation that's been given at the moment as to how he ended up in Paris, is that apparently he watched a show with no memory of how he got there, and he has to like navigate this new world because he's never been to Europe, never been to France. Poor guy hasn't a fucking word of French. I don't know how you just wash up in a country with no memory of how you got there. Maybe he was off looking for Rick. Maybe he was off trying to do some fishing to calm down for himself, to release some stress, took a wrong turn, hit a bit of a wave, and boom, France. I'm really interested to see what the tone of the show is going to be like, because I love The Walking Dead and I love The Walking Dead universe. One thing I really like about it is that all of the shows come with their own tones. They come with their own vibes and their own feels. Fear is leaps and whirls different to The Walking Dead, even though it is so fucking similar. Same with like Walking Dead World Beyond. That show tonally was so universes apart from what we were used to from shows like Fear or The Walking Dead. Tales The Walking Dead, same thing, completely different tone. So I'm excited to see what kind of tone Dead City and Daryl Dixon's show has and brings. I have a feeling Dead City is going to be very Walking Dead-like. I think, and maybe the same with Daryl's, I have a feeling they're going to stay to the tone of the show that they originated from. Because if you take a character like Daryl out of a universe like The Walking Dead's main show and plop him into something like Walking Dead World Beyond, how much would he stick out and be so different to the universe and the surroundings that he's now in? So I don't know. I think tone-wise they're probably going to have to stay close enough to The Walking Dead. But it'll be interesting to see what differences they make and how they change it up and what direction they take it in. Again, the producers on the show are the executive producers. Norman is billed as an executive producer on the show along with a few others. I think Greg is working on the show as an executive producer too. I mean, he's been playing Daryl since what? Norman now, not Greg Nicotero. He's been playing Daryl since what? Fucking 2010, since the show premiered. So for him to have a say in the creative process of a show like this, it makes total sense. Similar to like Jeffrey and Lauren. He knows his character. He knows it really well. He's been in it now and lived in it for so goddamn long you can hardly distinguish the two from each other, the Daryl Dixon from the Norman Reedus. But that's all I have to say really on the Daryl show. Like I said, I would watch the Daryl show regardless. I'm just so interested to see what they do, and I hope it's a success. I hope Dead City and the Daryl show, I hope they hit the marks, because I have such high hopes for them and I am so excited for them, even if they are just standalone 6-episode miniseries. I really am excited to see them. And I'm going to get on to Tales of the Walking Dead, because this wasn't on my list of things to talk about. Because they gave us the one season and then they didn't really talk about it again and no one has fucking mentioned it. I really liked Tales of the Walking Dead. I thought it was fun. It was so different, like World Beyond or like Fear. It had a different tone to The Walking Dead. But with anthology style shows, you can go real balls to the wall crazy when it comes to concepts and what you want to show and what you want to do. Because you're not tied down by the long format of TV. Because if it's anthology, it's one episode, one story. It doesn't need to completely make sense or fit into a bit bigger narrative. You just need to make it make sense and fit into the 45 minutes. So I love the idea of the anthology show. I heard somewhere, and I have a feeling that I'm wrong because now I'm Googling. No, I'm not wrong. Wait, am I? No, I'm not. Okay, so that was a roller coaster. Thank you for hanging on there with me. On the Wikipedia, it says Tales of the Walking Dead aired on AMC between August 14th and September 18th, 2022. It is set to be followed by a separate series titled More Tales from the Walking Dead Universe. I don't get why you're splitting it off to a separate series. You're giving the spin-off a spin-off. Alright. The name makes me think More Tales from the Walking Dead Universe. The title maybe would suggest that we might be dabbling in some characters that we already know, that we've already seen. They might be bringing back some familiar faces like they did with Alpha for her episode. I really enjoyed that one. I don't get why they couldn't just call it Tales of the Walking Dead Season 2. I have said it about this show. The possibilities it's endless with the TV show like this. You know, it's not endless how annoying my hair is and how it keeps flopping down even though I have it hairsprayed to the gods. Yeah, so I thought that I had read something about that, to be fair. I thought I had read something about a Season 2 or something got to do with Tales being announced. Dare I say, I might even be more excited for Tales than I am for the Daryl Dixon show. I am probably in the minority there. I know. People had like real split opinions on Tales. I liked it. I thought that it was weird and they could take chances. Like the real fucking horror episode where it's all set in the house. Like that was, did it make sense for the Walking Dead universe? No. But it's part of an anthology style show. You can do whatever you want. You can bring in different directors with different visions, different producers for different episodes to get as freaky deaky as you want. You don't gotta stick to the same formula and the same way of storytelling as you're used to from the other Walking Dead shows because it's a little unit in itself. So I'm excited for Season 2 of that. I hope that we do bring back some more characters that we're used to. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that they want this show to kind of become all about Walking Dead characters, and I don't agree with that. I think that this show is smart. They took chances in Season 1 and they also did what they knew people would like by giving us a familiar face. They gave us the Alpha episode. And as far as I know, that episode went down a fucking treat. People loved it. But I wouldn't like the show to turn into that, to just turn into what Walking Dead universe character are we getting today. I'd like to see other faces that we've never seen before, in parts of the world that we've never seen before, told and showed to us in ways that we're not used to. So, yeah, I as much as like I do want to see faces that we're used to as well. Don't get me wrong, but like if they were to do a full 16 episode season, maybe give us 4 of people that we know and that we love and characters that we know and love. They could be flashbacks, they could be where they are now if they survived the show that they were on. Yeah, but I would like to see like majoritively new faces. And then the Rick and Michonne show, I've made my thoughts so clear on that. I cannot wait for that shit. Yeah, I know I just said I'm most excited for Tales, and before that I just said I'm most excited for Daryl's show, but I'm most excited for the Rick and the Michonne show. Let me just say, they are 2 of my favourite TV characters of all time. And then outside of that, they just so happen to be 2 actors that are in like my top 5 of all time. So it is like the dream team for me. She disappeared, Michonne. She disappeared so long ago to find her guy, who also disappeared so fucking long ago. And I have a feeling the poor Daryl disappeared looking for him too. And that's how he ended up in France. I can't wait to see where they are, what's going on, what Rick has had to go through since he got kidnapped in the goddamn helicopter. Like I said, I'm excited they switched to the miniseries instead of the movie formula for that show. The only disappointing thing or negative note I have to say about the Michonne show is the fact it's not airing till next year. That's it. I mean, I guess time-wise, it could work and it could line up really nice because like next month we have the first 6 episodes of Fear. Then I think we have Dead City. And then I'm not sure what's going on for the rest of summer, but that brings us from April to mid-late June. And then Daryl's show is slated to start somewhere later on in the year. Late summer, early fall maybe. And then we still have the other 6 episodes of Fear that we need to finish. So if they can line up, if they can get all of the stars to align and the universe to just work with us, they could have it go in such a way that we have Walking Dead related content on air or very nearly about to air from like May to the Michonne show. But yeah, those are just some of my thoughts. I did not mean to speak for 33 minutes. Good God. I swear to God, when I sit down to talk and I turn this camera on, head just goes empty. She just shuts off. She hears buzzwords like Daryl, Dixon, Walking Dead, and she just goes blah, 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 blah. 33 minutes. 33 minutes I've been talking. Those are just some of my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, let me know down below what one you're most excited to see. What show are you most excited to see? And like I said at the beginning, if you'd like to check out my Patreon for other content, the link is down below. The link to my Twitter and my Instagram is also down below. Thank you so much for watching. We don't have long to go. We can just hang on, hold on, and we'll have the Walking Dead universe back in our lives again. And I cannot wait. That universe owns my whole ass heart. My whole ass heart. Truly, have a way with words. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you all soon.